Notion features exactly 21 database properties, and in this video, we'll explore each one so you finally understand how to build powerful databases. Hey friends, welcome back to Notionbase. If you're using Notion databases and you're wondering what all those property types are for, you're in the right place. In Notion, properties add context to your database items, whether that's links, dates, people, tags, files, or formulas. You can use them to organize, filter, sort, and connect your data more efficiently. Let's open a Notion database and walk through exactly what properties are, how they work, and how to set them up properly. So let's begin with the different types of database properties you can use. So here in the database settings, if I click Edit Properties, then New Property, I get a list of all the available property types. So in my opinion, they can be divided into 4 categories, which we will see now. The first group are the simplest properties, which accept plain text input. So text allows you to add plain text or rich text. You can use it for notes, summaries, titles, or any custom descriptions. It is the most flexible and common property. Number accepts numerical values, so these can be displayed as plain numbers, currency, or even progress bars. You can use them for things like costs, quantities, or percentages of completion. URL lets you paste a link to any website. When clicked, it opens the new browser tab. It's great for linking to external content, references, or source material. Email accepts email addresses, so when you click it, it opens your default mail client and starts a new email. And finally, phone accepts phone numbers on a device that supports calling. Clicking the field will trigger a phone call. Then you've got the properties that are generated automatically by Notion. You don't need to modify them yourself, so there are 5 of them. Created time logs the exact time when the database item was first created. Created by shows who created the item. Last edited time recalls the timestamp of the most recent change. Last edited by identifies the person who last modified the item. And finally, ID generates a unique numerical ID for each item, which is useful when you want a fixed reference that never changes. Now, the third group includes the properties that offer more flexibility in how you input and visualize data. So select allows you to choose one option from a predefined list. You can customize each tag with a name and color. It's great for categories where you want a single value. Then multi-select is basically the same, but lets you pick multiple tags from a list. So this is ideal when an item belongs to more than one category or needs multiple labels. Then person allows you to assign a database item to a member or guest of your workspace, which is perfect to delegate. Checkbox is a simple true or false field, which is great for quick to-dos, completion status, or conditional logic in formulas, for example. Status is a more advanced version of select, designed for task management. So it includes predefined groups like to do, in progress, and complete, and you can edit or reorganize them. Date lets you add a specific date, a range of dates, or even time. You can also set reminders and choose date formats and time zones, which is ideal for events, deadlines, or scheduling in general. Finally, files and media allows you to upload files or images, embed external links, or drag and drop items. So each property can contain multiple files, which you can rearrange, preview, or delete. Finally, the last group are advanced properties that require a bit more setup and knowledge of Notion systems. I'll cover them in details in other videos, but you've got formula, which lets you perform calculations, manipulate text, and apply logic using other property values. It uses its own syntax, similar to Excel formulas in a way, but tailored for Notion. Relation connects one database to another. This allows you to link related content across your Notion workspace, for example, linking tasks to projects or habits to goals. Rollup works together with relation. So once you've linked 2 databases, you can pull data from one to another and do all sorts of calculation with it. Finally, button triggers an action with one click, like duplicating a page or setting a value. It's great for automation, especially when you combine it with page templates. So this was a quick walkthrough of Notion database property types. Now let's look at how to actually use them and manage them. So to create, edit, or delete properties, click the settings menu at the top right of your database, then edit properties. You can search for properties, create new ones, delete or rename them. If you remove a property, it will temporarily go into the trash and you can permanently delete it from here. You can also change the property icon, description, and adjust individual property settings from here. That's one way to do it. But you can also directly left click on the property from a table view or right click on a page from any view and select the property that you want to edit. If you are in a table view and want to quickly insert a property, just click the plus add property icon on the right or click on any existing property to insert a new one left or right. You can actually set the name and icon before even creating the property. Now to hide or show properties, go into settings, click property visibility, and from here use the eye icons to toggle each property's visibility for the current view. You can also click on any property in your table and simply click hide. If you want, you can also wrap the content of the column, which will display the entirety of the content in cell, and you can also freeze it. In this case, if you scroll right in a large database, it will keep showing the column on the screen and all the columns on the left side of the frozen property. You can also click calculate, and then depending on the property type, you have different options to compute the data for all database pages, and the result will be displayed at the bottom of the associated column. Finally, if you open a page, you can modify the layout of your properties, meaning how they are displayed inside each page of your database. So you can reorder, hide them, or style them differently. Actually, I made a full video covering that part in detail. So if you want to dive deeper into layouts and customization, you can check it out here. Okay, so now let's sum this up and put it into practice. Here I've created a new blank database, and I'm going to create and edit all 21 properties so that you see absolutely everything. So let's start by adding all the properties. Okay, great. I've created the 21 properties and grouped them in the same way as I told you before. And as you can see, I've also added a page and filled the properties data to show you an example. So let's start off with the first group. Text, number, URL, email, and phone fields can be filled just by typing, but there are a few differences between them. The text property is the only one that can have a style applied to it, but there are no other settings that can be changed except maybe AI autofill. As for the number, I can click edit property and change the format to various currencies, for example, change the number of decimal places from 0 to 5, and also show the number as either a progress bar or a ring, and the completion percentage is defined here, divide by. If I choose this option, I can also change the color of the bar or ring and decide to show or hide the number itself. Now the URL is simply a link, which could also have been put into text, for example, but the difference is that there it applies to the whole cell, and by default it recognizes the format of the URL, but I've also got the option to show the full URL here if I want to. Now, email and phone properties are very similar. They have no settings and they both redirect either to an email or a call. Now we go on to the group 2, the properties for which no manual input is needed. So created and edited properties as well as ID are completely automated. And as you can see, I cannot really change anything if I click on any of the cells. However, for the time properties, I can change the date and time format if I want to. For the ID property, I could add also a prefix before each new entry if I wanted to, and define it here. Now let's move on to the third group. So for select and multi-select, you can just type whatever you want and type enter to create a new option. Then customize the tag colors, names, and reorder the options by dragging them. Multi-select has got the exact same options unless you can choose multiple options at the same time. Now person field lets you tag collaborators by typing their name, for example. Checkbox is just used to indicate whether a condition is true or false. For the status, I can change the options by clicking on the property, then edit property. Here I can click on any option, delete it, set it as default for any new page created, change its color, and also change its group between to do, in progress, or complete. Doing that will change the color to the default color of the group, which are respectively gray, blue, and green. You can also drag and drop the option between the groups. Finally, you can choose to display the property as a checkbox for this view only, instead of select, which is the default option. Then for dates, a picker will appear when you click the field. So you can add reminders, end dates, specific times, or adjust the time and date format here. For the files and media property, you just have to import a file from your computer or link the URL of an image, for example. And finally, formulas, relations, rollups, and buttons require a bit more configuration, so I won't detail them here, but they're extremely powerful for advanced databases. Now I want to show you a nice cool trick using the memory of database properties. So you might have noticed that for each property type, you always have the option to change the type of the property. And the cool thing is that if you convert a property into another type and decide to convert it back, your pages that were filled will recover the data. For example, if I change the number property to select, as you can see, it automatically creates an option for the number value that was here previously. And now if I change it to something completely unrelated, let's say a date, now the data cannot be converted, so the cell is just empty. But if at some point I decide that I want my select property back, or even my number property back, look what happens. Both the option for select and the value for number are back automatically. So that's a nice way to avoid losing your data by mistake. You can always recover your previous properties. So that's it for this overview. Now you know exactly how to use and manage Notion database properties. Keep in mind that you don't need to stuff as many as you can in your workspace just because you can. Instead, try to think which ones fit your situation best and which ones you actually need. Hey friends, I hope you got value from this video. Please like it if you did. If you want to take your Notion setup even further, head over to thenotionbase.com to find the best free and premium Notion templates in the game. And if you're tired of losing your notes, jumping from one productivity tool to another, having way too many apps cluttering your phone, and you're actually looking for a centralized all-in-one plug-and-play system to organize your entire life using Notion, let me introduce you to the ultimate Life OS. It is the full bundle of all premium templates I've ever created, designed as 7 mini apps working together in one powerful, easy-to-use system. I've spent over 500 hours building it and filling all the databases so you don't have to, saving you hundreds of hours of trial and error trying to build your own. You will also get world-class tutorials and support with lifetime updates as the system continues to evolve alongside Notion. And since you've watched this far, as a thank you, you can get $50 off the already discounted bundle price. And by the way, it's completely risk-free for 90 days. If you don't love it, just send me an email and you can call me crazy, but I'll not only refund you, but also send you an extra 10% as a thank you for giving it a try. Everything is linked down below. And if you have any questions about Notion, drop them in the comments. I read everything and I might choose your question for a future video. And of course, if you're not already, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Until then, keep notioning and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.